I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Yo, what's up? Welcome everybody to this week's video. In this week's video, I'm going to tell you a story about a place, a really cool place in the drifting culture and in the street drifting culture. This place is known as Oifuto. This is the Japanese name, but for the gaijin people like you and I, you will probably know this place as Oi Wharf. Oi meaning the zone where this place is, and Futo is the Japanese meaning of port of Bay Area, basically. First of all, we have to know where this place is. This place is located in the port area of Tokyo. It's a very industrial zone where this place is designed for truck driving into the industrial area. So it's a really wide road and really long industrial with 4 lanes and all this type of stuff. They started drifting this spot in the early 90s and mid 2000s, but for the video of today we are going only to focus in the 2000 era and to until day. Before explaining how the spot is and what lanes are and how they drift this spot, it's very important that we have to separate 2 different eras in this drifting spot. We have the pre-2009 drifting era and then the post-2009 drifting era, because there happens construction that changes how this spot is run forever. I have to say that this spot has been drifted before 2000s, like the 2000s, but the drifting there were very chaotic with low powered cars, manging everywhere. It's pure chaos, so I will not cover that in this video, and it's very rare to find footage from that era, so I will not cover that. So yeah, let's start with the first era of the drifting in Oi Wharf. The first thing I'm going to tell you guys is how this spot is. This spot is basically a normal road from an industrial area, okay? A 4-lane road that is located in a left corner, okay? A really long left corner. That is the spot. Basically, in this era, we are starting to see more power in the cars. We are starting to see more speed in drifting. We are starting to see grip in the drift cars. So how the drifting evolved in this era was just going bananas into this really long left turn, trying to drift it as fast as possible, going bananas and basically trying to cover this drift in one motion. We have to say that in the end of this left turn, we have a hairpin, we have like an intersection where these cars do like a U-turn and came over to redo the spot. This was basically the line, a really long left turn to an intersection, a U-turn, and then do it again. Really simple, really fast, but also really dangerous. I have to tell you that the driving here, these drivers were getting 150 kilometers per hour drifting here, 120. It was pretty normal. We are talking about a JZX pushing 400 horsepower, drifting as fast as possible, going bananas. It was chaotic. If you guys can see it, a lot of the driving here is performed by JZX platforms, okay? We have the Chasers, the Mark IIs, and the Mark 110s. They are the most popular cars because they are very long and very wide, so it brings a lot of stability into the drifting and is more useful to drift in this type of chassis than, for example, a Silvia or an 86, because low power and is more snappy. This car is more snappy, so it's not the platform used for this sport. In this era, the internet was just beginning to be a thing, and there are not a lot of much of videos online about this era, but we have some films and some clips from that era that are very popular, that these videos bring a lot of popularity to this drifting spot. One of them is GTM Insiders Vol 2. This video is more like a film, and it covers how these drifting drivers were hitting this spot at 6 a.m. and it's really cool. I fully recommend, if you haven't watched this film yet, just check it out, because you can see how this was in the era, and it gives you a lot of how these street drifters were performing at that time and what are the problems in that era. Thanks to this video, this spot became very popular in the Tokyo area, and more people started to go there to drift, to start drifting. So the more accidents and more crashes started to happen. Basically, the Japanese government tried to stop this several times. In 2009, there was a massive detentions of a lot of drivers that were drifting there in a weekend. The Tokyo government, the Japanese government, decided that this have to end, because it was very dangerous for the people that were using the roads, for the people there. So they started the construction to prevent drifting there. They redo this left turn and added some protections into this corner. They put some rails and making the entry more narrow. I want to show you guys some of the very popular drifting teams that were running in that era. Full drifting team, really crazy good team with a lot of JZX. There is this OG driver that appeared in some NORIYARO drifting video in Nico circuit that were doing the SANPATSU drifting competition that we are going to explain in a bit. Really famous drifting team full. We also have Magician. Magician is a really famous drifting team that were drifting a lot in Oiwarf. They have this pink JZX 110 Mark II that is completely beautiful. It's a beautiful car. Nowadays I think it's a pro car, pro spec car, but yeah, I'm completely in love with this car. Super beautiful, and is a really OG drifting in that spot. And then we have the Nightwalkers, that is the drifting team that were drifting in the GTM Insiders video, in the GTM Insiders film. We are changing now to the new era, the post 2009. All this construction happened, so all these street drifters, they have to evolve. What they did was they moved to an intersection that is located just before the main corner. What this is basically a L turn the drivers are drifting into. But something happened in the drifting spot there, that something developed thanks to that. Developed a motion, developed a drifting that is called SANPATSU. It's translated to a three motion drift. What this means is that from the part they are starting drifting, they are doing a 3-motion manji, and that is the style that developed there thanks to the construction, and that's the style that is now currently drifting in the nowadays Oiwarf. I want to explain more what SANPATSU is and where you can see more about this type of drifting. There is a really cool drifting video that NORIYARO made a few years ago and covers a competition that is happening in Nico circuit and explains how this is done. And yeah, it's a really cool drifting video, so I highly recommend going watching. All these links about these videos I will be probably putting in the description, so you guys can check it out. Basically, SANPATSU is now evolving and is becoming a type and a style of drifting thanks to the nowadays Oiwarf. You can see a lot of riders nowadays practicing this style in tracks like Tsukuba circuit, Nico circuit, the Fuji ski path. So yeah, thanks to that construction, we have nowadays the nowadays SANPATSU. So what is happening nowadays? What is happening in the present days? How is this looking? If I have to say something about nowadays state, is that the drifting nowadays is starting to revive, it's starting to become alive again. We are not talking about the popularity of the good old days and a lot of the crazy drivers and the amount of cars that were driving in the old days, but we are starting to see more activity in this type of spots, and we're starting to see more people driving Oil Wharf. There is this crazy driver that you are probably watching that is getting very viral in the socials, that is called YUJI World. He's driving with a chaser, with a JZX Cresta. He's a really technical and really talented driver that is driving with all his back end of the car, scrapping all his back end into the curve of Oil Wharf. But just remember that street drifting now in Japan is really difficult, because the Japanese government has been pushing and has been punishing this type of drifting super hard. We are talking about a lot of tickets, a lot of expensive tickets, prison, impounding cars, so don't get caught if you drift there. Also, shout out to Kaze, because thanks to him I am able to put you guys all these crazy photos and all these crazy videos in screen. Kaze is my teammate. He's a nerd from all this street drifting related, so a lot of information, a lot of things that I'm saying in this video is all thanks to him. So shout out to Kaze, thank you very much for helping me doing this video. So basically this is Oil Wharf and the current state of Oil Wharf nowadays. If you guys wanna see more content like this and more drifting spots and other spots, or why not another histories about drifting like drivers or whatever, just let me know into the comments and I will try to explain it and get covered in a video. So yeah, thank you very much everyone for watching, and see you guys in the next week's video.